All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Masthead Brewing Company, and they're out of Cleveland, Ohio, and this is their bourbon barrel-aged baseball bat. So they're calling this one a bourbon barrel-aged peanut butter jelly stout that comes in at 13.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This can is just under 3 months old, and I picked this one up at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor, Ohio, on a day trip to Ohio late last year. So in the description box, I'll post a link to the beer haul video I did that contains all the goodies I picked up on said trip, and I picked up 2 different barrel-aged beers from Masthead, and this is the first of the 2 that I'm reviewing, and I'm super excited because this sounds quite delicious. They have a little spiel here on the side that I will read. It says, insert obscure internet reference, put on your banana costume, and crap. I'm leaving that in. I'm leaving that not in it. Crack open this can. This Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels for 15 months with raspberries and peanut butter, but we left out the chunks of baseball bat for your safety. So I love the theme to this one, you know, your whole peanut butter jelly time, you know, with a baseball bat. We all know that reference, or most of us probably know that reference. You know, peanut butter beers are weird for me. Sometimes they're delicious, sometimes they're not. You throw in raspberries to give that jelly vibe. You put it in bourbon barrels. It's 13.2%. Let's get into it. I have not reviewed like a big Imperial beer from Masthead that's, you know, barrel aged or anything. So I'm really looking forward to this one. The other one I have from them is their Vanilla Underverse, which I'll review probably in another month or 2. But I wanted to get this one first because it has adjuncts in it that definitely can fade, and I'm kind of in the mood for a peanut butter jelly beer. So we're gonna do something like that. I'm not gonna give it a full pour, although I'm gonna drink the rest of this can tonight because it is a can. A little bit of cheat there, and let me just say it tasted pretty good. Tasted pretty good. So that looks beautiful. Poured out more of a dark brown. On camera, it's gonna look pitch black, but I'll tell you right now, there are like darker brown hints at the bottom here. I like to say it looks like a Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola or maybe a root beer. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, definitely has like that darker soda pop vibe to it. A finger of a straight up brown colored head. Very creamy looking. There are alcohol legs around here. I wouldn't say sheets, but it's definitely noticeable. Yeah, looks like a 13.2% bourbon barrel aged peanut butter jelly stout. That was, oh yeah. 100%. Peanut butter and jelly. I get right up front, huge blast of like chunky peanut butter. Like it has more of a nuttiness than like a smoothness in the nose. Like it definitely smells more of like crushed peanuts, but peanut butter, sure, or peanuts. And then I get this nice jammy raspberry. Underlying hints of like there's chocolate, there's roasted malt, there's a bit of vanilla probably coming from the barrel. I will say in the nose, the barrel is not like, you know, like overly It's not really intense. It's not super noticeable. It's there. But that peanut butter and jelly kind of just, you know, it's basically like peanut butter, jelly, chocolate, roasted malt, maybe a touch of like a coffee. Honestly, that peanut butter and jelly are meshing together so well. And we know peanut butter and jelly go together well, but in a beer, sometimes it's just disjointed, not that cohesive. And the fact that they call this a peanut butter jelly stout and a bourbon barrel aged peanut butter jelly stout, I'm really happy I get the peanut butter and jelly, because a lot of times, you know, you'll get a beer like this and totally won't be the case. You'll be like, "Where's the peanut butter? Where's the jelly? Why does it just taste like a barrel aged stout or smell like one?" And here I can say that the peanut butter and the jelly definitely noticeable. The base beer is noticeable. The only thing getting kind of lost a little bit in the nose is the barrel. I want to get into it. Cheers, everyone. I love the jammy, slightly tart raspberry in the taste. This is nice. Is it amazing off that first sip? No. Is it really fucking tasty? Yes. This is nice stuff. We go back for body mouthfeel. Body is a bit thin. It's 13.2%, right? This is in that higher side of medium, lower side of low realm. The barrel probably thinned it out a bit, which is fine. You know, shout out to Paul over at PA Brew News. I mentioned this in some reviews recently, but he mentioned it, and I kind of caught wind of what he was saying, and I kind of started to like try to see if I could, you know, figure that out on my own in my reviews. And the one thing he would say is that, like, you know, obviously A lot of us know if you've drank barrel-aged beers, a lot of times the beers get thinned out. But specifically on the palate, what happens with a beer like this, up front, it seems like thick and chewy and, you know, like viscous. And then as it passes through, it thins out on the palate. And that's what's happening here. Right up front, this is like probably like medium full, almost approaching full. And then by the end of the palate, it's like higher side of medium, lower side of full. It thins out across the palate. And I really noticed that until I started really, you know, hearing what Paul was saying and listening to it, right? And that's kind of what's happening with this beer. It starts up front like medium full bodied and ends on the lower side of full, maybe even the higher side of medium. So it's a bit thin. The mouthfeel is really nice. Mild to moderately carbonated, smack dab in the middle. It's smooth, it's somewhat creamy. Really smooth though, like epically smooth on the palate. So mouthfeel's better than the body, and it really makes for a fun drinking experience. I will say right off a lot of times I leave this to the end, but right now I'll say 13.2%, no. There is a warming in my chest, nothing on the palate. I would not say, if I was doing this blind right now, let me go back for another sip before I start misspeaking. If I was doing this blind, there's no way I would say this is over 11%. So considering this is 13.2%, it's hiding it extremely well in the palate. Yeah, big warming in the chest, nothing on the palate. I would say like 11% if I was doing blind. So right up front, I get a ton, and this is omnipresent, ton of raspberry, jammy raspberry. It's sweet, it's tart, it has a nice sweetness to it. Again, a very jammy kind of raspberry. It has a slight acidic kind of a vibe as it, you know, as it finishes. Up front, though, I get more like chocolate, roasted malt, maybe a touch of caramel. As it continues past through the palate, the peanut butter hits, and then that's where you get that peanut butter and jelly vibe. I would say this is more like just like a straight jelly with a little bit of like peanut butter, a little bit touch of peanuts, more so than straight on peanut butter. So is it straight on peanut butter jelly? Not exactly, but I do get the vibe of peanut butter and jelly. Second half of the palate is where the barrel hits, and the barrel is not overly done in this one, which I think I welcome. I don't know if I want necessarily the bourbon to kind of be the predominant note in a peanut butter and jelly stout. Like, I think it would maybe affect it a little bit too much, but I do get a touch of vanilla. I get some oak presence and a little bit of like a bourbon. And again, it's just accentuating that like caramel, toffee, kind of sweeter vibe to it. What I really like about this is while it has a sweetness to it, this is not cloying in the least. There's a nice semi-full-on dryness. There's a mild bitterness, but this isn't overly sweet to begin with, which is kind of crazy because it's 13.2%. The sheer amount of malts they're using, peanut butter, raspberry, the whole nine, you would think, oh man, this is like a bourbon barrel-aged pastry stout. While that's probably what you would see it labeled as in general, like on online or like at the, you know, their tap room or wherever you see it. This doesn't drink necessarily like a bourbon barrel-aged pastry stout. This just drinks like a bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout with some peanut butter and jelly vibes. You know, the nuances of those. Again, I shouldn't say the raspberry is nuanced, the peanut butter is, but it's not crazy sweet, which I really respect in this manner. It's fucking pretty good. Is it amazing? Again, like I said right off that first rip, it's not, but it's really tasty, and I'm pouring the rest in because we're finishing this one tonight. So pros and cons. Pros of this one, the mouthfeel is awesome. I definitely get a little bit of peanut butter and jelly vibe, more jelly than anything. I like that the raspberry is screaming. I do enjoy the fact that it has a nice dryness. It's not overly sweet. There's really nice things, to be said about this one. The cons, I want that body to be a little bit thicker for sure and consistent throughout the palate. I want more peanut butter. I seem to say that a lot in peanut butter beers where it's like either I get like, roasted peanuts or I get maybe just a smidge of peanut butter. Here I'm getting, nuances of peanut butter. It's not roasted peanuts on taste, it's more peanut butter, but it's not that big. So I don't get necessarily peanut butter jelly to a T. I get vibes of that. It's more jelly than anything. I do like that tartness from that raspberry in the finish too, a slight acidity. Again, that's really helping balance out this entire beer to stop it from being too sweet. I think I would like a little bit more of the base beer too. I do enjoy that roasted malt character, a little bit of chocolate, caramel, and toffee, but a little bit more from the base beer would be nice. As a whole though, this is really tasty. I'm surprised at how subtle and subdued the barrel is with the fact that this was aged for 15 months. I thought it'd be a little bit more intense, but at the same time, I'm happy that it's not overly done. So I'm going to give Bourbon Barrel Aged Baseball Bat from Masthead. I have no issues whatsoever. I'm going to give this one a high 4.25 and go 4.35 out of 5. I think that's where this one lands. It's a really nice, well-made Bourbon Barrel Aged Peanut Butter Jelly Stout, and my first review on the channel from Masthead as far as like a barrel aged beer goes, or a big Imperial Stout or whatever. Really nicely done. I'm hoping that vanilla underverse is really tasty as well, and I am not disappointed in the least that I grabbed this one. I think it's really well done. Love the label, love the name, and 4.35 out of 5, no doubt. All right, so price point availability at $12.99 for that can. That's fine with me. It's 16-ounce can. 16 fluid ounce can, I always say under $1 an ounce when it comes to something like this, and it is. Those Jackie O beers, which I enjoyed more than this one, I was paying $11.99, so a little bit better value for Jackie O's, but $11.99, $12.99. I would put it this way: if I was back at Red Wine and Brew in Mentor and I saw this on the shelf, and I never bought it, I would buy it again. You know what I mean? I wouldn't buy it again knowing, would I buy it again? I might buy it again. I don't know. But if I see Masthead barrel aged stuff on a shelf and it's under $1 an ounce, yeah, easily buying it. So yeah, I would totally pay that. And availability, this specific beer, I mean, if you're not in Ohio, you're probably not getting your hands on it, but it might not even be on the shelves anymore. I just so happened to be able to pick it up like a month after it was released. But I would say with Masthead stuff, check out their stuff, whether it's their shelfie core range or the stuff you can get at the brewery or the specialty stuff like this. I've thoroughly enjoyed the beers I've had from Masthead, and this is another one that is really well done. And it makes me excited to try more from them in the future. Next time I go through Ohio, definitely pick up more of their beers. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. I want to take one more sip, make sure that 4.35 is exactly the rating I want to go with. Yeah, it's funny. I go back and now the first thing I get is like a slight pop of that peanut butter, like roasted peanut type of thing. Then the raspberry hits, and then I get the barrel. I think a 4.35 is appropriate, but I do think when this kind of opens up a little bit further in the glass, because this was straight out of my dark beer fridge at 54 degrees Fahrenheit, but I do think when this one kind of opens up a little bit more in the glass, once it starts getting the room temperature as I continue to drink on it, I think the peanut butter and jelly might pop a little bit more, and this might be in the low 4.5 range, but we're going to stick with the 4.35, and I think it's damn good. So again, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Be on the lookout for another Masthead review at some point in the next couple months. And until then, cheers. It's peanut butter jelly time. There you go.